Do you want to drink apple juice? Yes, I want to drink apple juice. Why? Justification is not there. How? Traveling the world gives people the immense pleasure. You write that. Examiner's mind will be thinking, why? How? I don't know about it. Could you please let me understand? But this writer says, no, I don't have time. I'll write only one line. You will not get marks for it. This coherence cohesion is completely zero for the second line or whatever the lines the person has written. So Nakul, even if I don't have a good English, well, a lot of people don't have, totally fine. Can I get 7 plus? Certainly yes, man. See, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the simplicity. Vocabulary is a part of it. Correct? Vocabulary is a part of it. Out of 9, you may get 6 or 7. But in the other ones, you can get 8.5 to 9 and still get above 7, isn't it? Should I just shoot one advantage, another advantage, 5 advantages I write? How many marks I get? You don't get any marks for that. See, it's English. They're not testing your general knowledge. Always understand the fact behind it. They're testing how well can you make the reader experience your English. How well can you connect the reader with? Correct? So here again you need a structure. The structure is nothing but one main idea, one supporting idea, one example, one conclusion. Hi everyone, Nakul here from Skills Ielts. I really hope you guys are doing well. Today I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages essay. Nakul, last time I wrote only one disadvantage and one advantage, and that is the reason I got less bands. But the next attempt I wrote 3 advantages and I got more. Is that true? So today I'm going to explain you each and everything, the structure, evaluation criteria, everything in detail. It's going to be a little lengthy. You just need to have patience and watch it till the end. Also, the last video was on agree, disagree essay. If you have missed it, kindly first finish that video because I have explained a lot of things, especially the grammar related things, what exactly a coherence is, which I may not be explaining in detail in this video because I've already done that. So if you haven't watched that video, kindly go and watch that first agree, disagree essay. It's almost, like 1 hour essay, a video. And once you finish that, you can come back to this. Also, in the previous agree, disagree video, a lot of people commented asking me to make a video on idea generation. And certainly, yes, in this, I'm going to in detail explain how to generate the idea. And also a lot of people asked me, they even sent me a mail asking me to make a video on the mistakes of the essay. So today I'm going to deal with that as well. I'm going to take an essay with a lot of mistakes, but looks all perfectly fine. It looks like a 9 band, but doesn't even deserve more than 5.5. And then I'm going to explain you what are the mistakes in that essay and then how to overcome that each and everything, but with respect to advantages and disadvantages essay. And if you haven't subscribed the channel yet, I request you kindly do subscribe in order not to miss any of the live updates. And also we conduct the online classes. So if you're interested in the online course, you can always check the information in the description. I've shared the Gmail ID. You can send us a mail and avail our services. So with all this, we'll start with this advantage, disadvantages. I'm going to show you the question now. So let's quickly start with it. Well, this is the essay we're going to talk about today. In some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting university studies. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages for young people who decided to do this. Before I explain you further, the major problem for a lot of people is not actually English. We all have studied, or like majority of us have studied in English medium, but still we don't edge past 7 or 7.5 in IELTS essay. Why? One of the plausible reason is the task response. That means you are writing an essay. According to you, you are writing it perfectly to the topic. But for an examiner, you have written for some other topic. So that's exactly what I'm gonna start with today. I'm gonna show you an introduction which looks all perfectly fine, but it doesn't even score any mark. So before we proceed further, how well you're evaluated is with respect to 4 components in IELTS essay or let writing or the describe image for the IELTS academic. The task response, it only talks about whether you have written an essay to the topic or you have written an essay for some other topic. Coherence cohesion is a very big chapter. In my previous video, I've attempted to explain it in detail. I'll again explain in this video as well. It's a flow of the ideas, how well you have articulated a single thought. It's not about writing more than 400 words in an essay. It's about how well you have articulated the thoughts. I'm going to explain that in detail in just a while. And then lexical resource is all about vocabulary. It's not just about using hi-fi vocabulary. It's about using the apt vocabulary. Then grammar is an ocean, we will deal with it. And before that, structure gonna be this. It will be a 4-paragraph essay. The first is an introduction, wherein you tell the examiner as to what you are going to write about. In the advantage, disadvantage, you will tell the instructor or the examiner that you're going to write the advantage as well as the disadvantage of this essay. And then comes the advantage. In the body 1, you're going to write only the advantages. And then in the body 2, you're going to write only the disadvantages. And then you're going to conclude whatever you have written. You're not going to do anything else. You're going to just conclude whatever you have written in the body 1 and the body 2. So this is the question I just showed. You can just pause the video and read it to understand more about it. In some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing school and starting university studies. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages for young people who decided to do this. So let's have a look at this particular essay. In today's era, most students like to travel, and traveling is one of the beautiful experiences. Additionally, some students like to work while they're studying, which has both advantages and disadvantages. In this essay, I will decipher both the viewpoints further. Well, this could be one of your essays or one of your friend's essays, which looks perfectly fine, but it will not score good. I mean, of course, I cannot just say just from the introduction, but the point, whatever I'm trying to tell you, is the introduction is wrong. The introduction is not written for the topic given. It's written for some other topic. Nakul, how do I know? I'm going to help you understand. Let's do this now. So a lot of people go wrong in the introduction due to their excessive imagination. And what are they imagining about? If you see here, in some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing the high school and starting the university studies. Let's say high school in some countries is like 10th standard. Once they finish 10th standard, and before they go on to choose their masters or the degrees, correct, between that duration they are encouraged to work. That is the question. And if you look at the answer there, in today's era, most students like to travel. No, most students don't like to travel. That is not given there at all. It's your assumption. And traveling is one of the beautiful experiences. Where it is written, why are you assuming a lot of things? Is the essay is all about traveling? Not at all. Then why are you telling the examiner that you have not understood the question at all? And then you expect more scores? Not possible at all. So this will not work. This particular introduction is wrong. So how well to do that? I have a simple formula which I'm going to explain you in just a while. So that simple rule is this: no excessive imagination. Just write preferably 2 to 3 sentences. Don't have to write a lot. 3 sentences if possible. Introduction. First line, restate what is provided. Second line, paraphrase, restate what is provided. Third line, state your view if asked. Very simple, but Nakul, I did not understand it. Let's say the introduction, the first line we'll talk about. In some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting university. You can just add few things at the beginning. In today's world, in today's era, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting universities. Well, this is my first line. You may argue that there are a lot of words repeated. We're going to tackle each and everything in just a while. This is just to help you understand where you may go wrong. If you follow this particular rule, you will never go wrong in your task response. That's exactly my point is. So that's the first line. The second line, paraphrase, is not given in the question itself. It says discuss the advantages and disadvantages for young people who decided to do this. This vital decision has both advantages and disadvantages linked with it. In this essay, I will decipher both the viewpoints further. Precisely fine, the essay looks all fine, but there are a lot of mistakes. But let's evaluate them with respect to 4 components, which is task response, coherence cohesion, lexical resource, and grammar independently. So let's start with task response. Well, task response is precise because I've not done anything else. Whatever the question, I exactly ditto copy pasted. So there is no way I can say task response is wrong for this. Hope you are getting it. Task response is perfect with whatever the introduction I have written. Well, this is the introduction. In today's era, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting university studies. This vital decision has both advantages and disadvantages. I am exactly talking to the topic. Task response is perfect. I have not used excessive imagination anywhere. Alright, so what about the lexical resource? Is completely messed up. So let's do that. Every word is repeated. Say every word by word is repeated. So let's fix it. Very simple. Every word we will paraphrase. This is the art of paraphrasing. In today's era, young people becomes more students. Encouraged to work becomes motivated. See here, encourage to work. You can write in any way possible, but don't write the same word if possible. Becomes motivated to work to get hands-on experience, to travel to explore the world. Between this time, so in the intermittent period between finishing high school, between schooling and starting university studies and commencing their higher education. It all means the same, so you can't simply assume that you are paraphrasing by just using the words. Deep down the context could be different. So that's exactly what I'm telling you. Follow the protocol which says just copy paste and then change it. So introduction is very simple. Within 1 minute or max 2 minutes you will finish completely writing it. And then the next big headache is the body 1 and the body 2, where your actual writing skill is determined. So this line looks perfectly fine. Young people became more students, are motivated to gain hands-on experience or explore the world in the intermittent period between schooling and commencing their higher education. And I don't think there is more required to change for the rest of the lines. This vital decision has both advantages and disadvantages linked with it. In this essay, I will decipher both the viewpoints further. Alright, so far we finished the lexical resource and the task response precisely. We have not done anything extra. We just put the same words with a synonym. Now we will talk about coherence cohesion. You may not understand if I teach coherence cohesion here because lack of the sentences, lack of words. So we're going to deal more about it in the coming paragraph, but still I'll explain you further. Cohesion is the connection between the ideas. How will you articulate it? Let's say you told about one thing. Have you just told about one thing in one sentence, or have you articulated more about it? It's like a movie. In a movie, the screenplay, correct? It's about how you narrate the movie, or consider an old granny narrating a story to a kid. The kid, it's difficult for an old granny to make the kid sleep unless she narrates the story in a better way, isn't it? The same way here, you bring one thing and then you articulate on top of it. Articulate. That's a cohesion, is the connection between the ideas, the flow of the ideas. But what about the coherence? Coherence is like a Google map, man. Very simple. You ask for a direction. Google map says, go straight, right, left. No, it says, first go straight and then take the immediate left. Those set of words which help the examiner or the reader experience reading in a better way, correct? You give the reader an experience of reading your essay in a much better way. That's the coherence. It is required. That is a signpost. So that helps you or the examiner to understand things in a much effective manner. So look at this example here. This vital decision. What vital decision? This is nothing but whatever has been explained here. Entire thing has been replaced by this. This is one of the coherence, you can say. It also applicable to cohesion because the same thing you are connecting again. And there is nothing but students. So few cases pronouns act as coherence cohesion here, but actual cohesion is actually different. We're gonna talk about it more in the coming paragraphs. Alright, and grammar is ocean. Here I'm not dealing much with it. Well, in the body 1 and the body 2 in detail we will talk about this. Well, introduction is very simple. We have done it in today's data. Most students are motivated to gain hands-on experience or explore the world in the intermittent period between schooling and commencing their higher education. This vital decision has both advantages and disadvantages linked with it. In this essay, I'll decipher both the viewpoints further. Precisely fine, excellent. I don't have any issues with it. So we'll go to body 1, body 2 and the rest of the things. So this is the structure. So this is in fact a cohesion. What structure should I follow? One is introduction, a para, and then you go to the body 1. Correct? Wherein you talk only about the advantages. And then you go to body 2. Wherein you talk about disadvantages and then you conclude it. This is a cohesion. But inside the body 1, again the cohesion rule applies, isn't it? And that is nothing but how you write the advantages now. Should I just shoot one advantage, another advantage, another advantage, 5 advantages I write? How many marks I get? You don't get any marks for that. See, it's English. They're not testing your general knowledge. Always understand the fact behind it. They're testing how well can you make the reader experience your English. How well can you connect the reader with, correct? So here again you need a structure. The structure is nothing but one main idea, one supporting idea, one example, one conclusion. This entire thing is one advantage. So what I'm telling you, whenever you write an advantage, don't just write one line. One advantage, one more, you will not get any marks for that. So whatever you write, you have to justify it. Bring one advantage, build on top of it. I want to drink apple juice. Let me go to the market to get the apple. And once I get the apple, let me cut the apple, chop them into pieces, and then put them into a grinder. And then run the grinder to drink the apple juice. Then I mix the milk, sugar, and then I drink apple. Entire thing is talking about apple alone. No, Nakul, I like mango as well in between. Can I talk about mango in between? No. If you want to talk about mango, put it in the next paragraph. Hope you are getting it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You bring one, don't just stop there. Write more about it. So accordingly, we have one main idea, which is we write one advantage, and then we don't go to the immediate second advantage. We paraphrase it, and then we continue talking about it, and then we conclude it. So let's understand what mistakes people do. And then I'm going to show you how to generate the ideas, how to make the ideas connect each other and write well. Well, this is one of the essays written by my student. Well, the essay looks all fine. The student really thought that the person would get 9 from us for the feedback, but what we gave was disastrous. Let's understand. Firstly, pushing youngsters to work or travel has myriad advantages associated with it. Excellently fine. No issues at all. The first line is totally fine. To work or travel, that's what they asked, totally fine. But if you see here, what exactly is missing? Pushing youngsters to work or travel is not the essay. Pushing youngsters to work or travel in those intermittent period between finishing the high school and before commencing the higher studies, that is missing. That means this first line is not talking about the topic. Very, very important. Very important, in fact. To begin with, when the youth start their work life, they gain substantial knowledge and it is a valuable asset for them in their future job search. Are they talking about youth's working life? I really don't think so. So this is again not talking about the topic. The topic is before commencing and after your higher studies and before commencing university studies. For instance, they gain real-time work-life experience, skills of dealing with different people at work, and quintessentially, so a lot of new words, excellent words. The person's English is good, but the person will never get more than 6.5. Or could be 6 sometimes, could be 6.5, but never will reach 7 because the person has not understood the question at all. Her representation or his representation has some problem. So Nakul, even if I don't have a good English, well, a lot of people don't have, totally fine. Can I get 7 plus? Certainly yes, ma'am. See, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the simplicity. Vocabulary is a part of it. Correct? Vocabulary is a part of it. Out of 9, you may get 6 or 7. But in the other ones, you can get 8.5 to 9 and still get above 7, isn't it? This person has written it good, but this entire thing is not talking about the topic at all. Nowhere she has mentioned about after finishing the high school and before commencing the university studies. It's only talking about youth starting their work life. Alright, she talked about the work life, working advantages. And one more thing is that traveling. The two things, if you properly see in the question, see here, in some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year. Work or travel, there are two things, and you need to write separate advantages what's going to happen when they work and what's going to happen when they travel. Two separate advantages are required. Correct? Only just writing about work advantages and completely overlooking at travel advantages will get the task response to 5 out of 9. So the next paragraph the person wrote, on the other hand, traveling the world gives people immense experience by meeting new people and understanding their culture. This exactly looks like, what is the advantage of traveling? Well, traveling around the world gives us immense pleasure. We get to meet people. For that essay, this is the question. Isn't it? Yes or no? But the person thinks, hey, I tried my best. And the person has worked more than 200 essays. Got the reviews from a lot of people. Did a lot of practice. But poor understanding of the question. Representation is the poor. So at the end of the day, what I'm telling you, practicing will not actually give you the scores. It only gives you mental satisfaction. Understanding your problem, know what to practice, and then start practicing. That alone will serve the purpose. So this particular essay will only give you 5 out of 9 for your task response, though the essay looks all good. And this is the very problem. So that's about task response. Let's also talk about the coherence cohesion. So if you see here, coherence cohesion is all about how well the ideas are linked. When the youth start their work life, they gain substantial knowledge, and it is a valuable asset for them in their future job search. For instance, yes, she has told something, it's a substantial knowledge and it is a valuable asset, and the person is continuing talking about it. They gain real-time work-life experience, skills dealing with different people at work and applying the knowledge they learned into action. Excellent. This part is totally fine. But task response is wrong. Ideally, she should not be getting good score for this. But this particular thing is okay with respect to coherence cohesion. But let's check the other one. On the other hand, traveling the world gives people immense experience by meeting new people and understanding their culture. Do you want to drink apple juice? Yes, I want to drink apple juice. Why? Justification is not there. How? Traveling the world gives people the immense pleasure. You write that. Examiner's mind will be thinking, why? How? I don't know about it. Could you please let me understand? But this writer says, no, I don't have time. I'll write only one line. You will not get marks for it. This coherence cohesion is completely zero for the second line or whatever the lines the person has written. Only half of the cohesion is correct. The rest of the part is not correct. It's totally incorrect. The person ends up getting only 5 out of 9. And another problem, if you carefully identify, there are a lot of they see here. When the youth start their work life, they gain substantial knowledge. It is a valuable asset for them in their future. They gain real-time work-life experience. They learned into action. A lot of they. Yes, Nakul, that's correct. I saw a video somewhere. A person told, you don't have to write the noun again. You replace it with they, you get more marks. Doesn't mean that you use most of the times the word they, isn't it? So this has a flaw, and I'll explain you how to fix it before I take you to the actual idea generation topic. Well, it's actually very simple. Pay more attention to whatever I'm explaining right now. To begin with, when the youth start their work life, they gain substantial knowledge, and it's a valuable asset for them in the future. It's the entire thing is concentrated on youth. Youth did this. Youth did this also. They did this. They did this. In the formal writing, you don't talk about the noun too much. Rather, you give importance to the object. For example, I eat pizza every weekend. It's personalization. I. But the object is eating the pizza, man. Give preference to eating and remove the word I. So that becomes I love eating pizza every weekend. Eating pizza is a weekly habit. There is no I in that. The same way we have to do, and this concept is called nominalization. I've already explained this in my other grammar video. The link is given in the description. Kindly go and check that. You will have immense knowledge. And also you could relate why your marks were always stuck at 6 or 6.5 and never crossed 7. So in this example, Ram killed Ravan. Ram is the subject, Ravan is the object. So here the preference is given to Ravan. Though the word Ram is there, the preference is completely given to Ravan and not the Ram. In the worst case, you can just remove this. That means it doesn't matter who was the killer. It only mattered who was killed. Ravan was killed. I removed it. The same way here, if you talk about they gain substantial knowledge. Substantial knowledge is the important thing here. The who gained is obvious. It's the youth only. You don't have to mention it again, isn't it? Correct? So how are you going to change that? That subject, that object, you're going to make it a subject. That means, very simple to begin with. When the youth start their work life, substantial knowledge is gained, which is a valuable asset, and it is a valuable asset for them in their future. You don't have to worry about all these things. Sometimes not writing a lot of this will actually get you more score, which is a valuable asset for the future job search. For the, I don't have to use there again and again, them again and again. It just annoys, whoever the reader is. We'll continue about it. The next line is, for instance, they gain real-time work-life experience, skills of dealing with different people at work, and quintessentially applying the knowledge they learned into action. They gain this, they will apply the one they learned into action. Instead, you could have put it in a much better way, isn't it? For instance, you start with the skills gained instead of saying who gained the skill. Hope you're getting it. Hope you're there. So it becomes a real-time work-life experience, skills of dealing with different people, and quintessentially applying the knowledge learned into action. They is not required. It is them only. Who else you're talking about, isn't it? Knowledge learned into action are some of the advantages worth mentioning. Enough. More than enough. Try to avoid as much as possible. When it is not possible, it is totally fine. Having them is totally fine, but not too many things. Too many of they, too many he will not fetch you any mark. Always know this. And the next part is grammar. Well, this essay has a lot of flaw with respect to grammar. Well, it looks all excellent, right? The essay with respect to grammar. Nakul, I don't think there is a problem in the grammar, but if you dig down, understand the evaluation criteria, what grammar is expected, when you understand, you would know that this essay doesn't meet any of the criteria. The grammar demands one to write variety of sentences, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, relative clauses, and also add models. I will kill you, I kill you. Two different things. I kill you may say that the person is angry. I will kill you has a different set of meaning, isn't it? I may kill you, I should kill you, I can kill you. Everything defines the situation in a much better way. So you got to use the models, man. Hope you are getting it. So grammar is all about, yes, articles, commas, and all of them, including the usage of the models and the sentence structure. In this essay, I'm not explaining you more about simple sentence, what a compound complex sentence is about, because I've already explained this in the other video, which I told in the very beginning. I request you watch that to understand more about it. But if you see here, firstly, pushing youngsters to work has myriad advantages, simple sentence. When the youth start their work life, they gain substantial knowledge. It's a complex sentence. It is a valuable asset for them. There's one more independent sentence, two independent sentence connected using and becomes compound complex. For instance, they gain this, and this simple sentence. Traveling the world gives you immense experience by meeting people, and this simple sentence. I could see most of the simple sentence and only one variety, very less variety, and nowhere the models the person has made use of. Can, could, would, may, might, shall, should, nowhere mention of them. Obviously the grammar also scores 6. Overall the person get this is 5, this is 6, this is 7.5, 6, certainly not more than 6.5, or in the worst case, if the examiner is in a good mood, the person may get 6.5 and not more than that. But the essay looks good to the naked eye, isn't it? So the next question we all have is how to structure the essay as per the evaluation criteria so that I can get more than 7, 7.5 or even 8. Now I'm going to show you how to do the idea generation. What is the source behind the idea generation? It's about your lack of thinking. It's just that a person is not ready to think because the person doesn't have the approach. And now I'm going to give you the approach. It's your turn to try applying the approach. See, first day going to be difficult. Second day going to be the toughest. Third day going to be the even toughest one to follow this approach. But the fourth day, if you resist, fourth day, if you keep on practicing, it becomes a cakewalk. So try following this. Things will easily fall in place. Well, the approach is very simple. I'm going to explain you in just a while. But before that, let's understand the structure. This is what your sentences should look like, isn't it? So this is the knowledge. Whatever the advantage you write for the travel, you have to write one advantage. And then don't write another advantage. Support it with a supporting idea. Provide some examples or continue talking about them and then conclude it if possible. Then once this is done, then you go to work, talk about one advantage related to work, and then continue talking about it, a supporting idea, and then some more examples or continue talking about them if possible, give a conclusion. Well, this is how it has to be written. So how many advantages should I write? You can write as many as you want, but whatever the advantage you write, it should have a justification. Articulation has to be there. If that is not there, then marks will not be given. I suggest one advantage is more than enough. There's no marks given, extra marks is given if you write or if you happen to write more number of advantages, isn't it? Put your knowledge, put your time, energy into the evaluation criteria. Marks is not given for the number of advantages. Marks is given for coherence, cohesion, task response, lexical resource, and the grammar. So it should not matter as to how many advantages you write. It should only matter as to how you have written those advantages, isn't it? So one advantage is enough. Because here the question is work is also there, travel is also there. So work you give one advantage, travel you give another advantage in one paragraph. But let's say the question is only one particular topic, let's say about only work given. Then you may write 2 advantages if you really want to. So let's talk about the travel first. Let's narrow down the things and get the travel advantages first. But the problem with a lot of people is I don't know anything. I mean, what to start with, how to start with. And the famous approach or the famous concept that comes here is a brainstorming. Brainstorming means whatever that comes to your mind, you just think. Travel. But narrow down your thought process into the topic. The topic is not traveling at all. Correct? The topic is all about young students who have just passed their high school and before they join the university, should they be encouraged to travel? With that in the mind, you think, and whatever the thoughts you get, let the thoughts just flow. Let the thoughts just flow, no problem at all, because later we're going to group them quickly. So for me, when I was brainstorming, the first thought that came to my mind was traveling at early stages of life provides a greater understanding of society and it can have a positive impact on their thinking, certainly yes. And then I started questioning more about it, how it can give a greater understanding of the society, because it expands the mental horizon of the individuals, mainly because they can meet a lot of people from variety of background. So this is the first step, and once this is done, you could have written whatever you want, but with respect to topic. You can't simply write, correct? I can write traveling gives me fun. Traveling is very, expensive. Traveling is cheap. No, with respect to the topic, you have to narrow it down and just write. Next thing is the most important thing, which gives marks to your cohesion, how the ideas are related. So whatever you have written, just give it a thought. Just give it a thought. Can I group them? Can I link them? Can I group them? Let's say these two are together, these two are separate. Can I do that? If possible, try doing it now. Let me show you how exactly I do it. So let's group them in a proper order. Traveling expands the mental horizon of the individuals. I'm gonna start with this. This looks like the main advantage. It's very simple. Sometimes you need to name the heading for an entire paragraph. And this looks like the heading, right? Traveling expands the mental horizon of the people. That's gonna be the advantage. And then I'm gonna talk more about it. How? Because when you travel, you meet a lot of people with different background. Since their background is different, you get to understand a lot of things, which eventually have a positive impact or expands your mental horizon. So I'm just grouping it based on your knowledge. You group it, no problem, in whatever the way you do. So this would be my first sentence. I'm just ordering them or grouping them. Then comes they can meet a lot of people. Why the mental horizon expands? Because why this is happening? It's only because they can meet a lot of people. And if I want to talk more about it, then I would say traveling at early stages of the life provides a greater understanding of society as they meet a lot of people from different background, different culture, means more knowledge, and certainly it has a positive impact in their thinking, which is nothing but mental horizon. I'm just articulating the thoughts. Excellent. This is the first step, and once this is done, the next gonna be the actual one, wherein you rewrite considering the question and also show your formal writing skills. Traveling expands the mental horizon of the individuals. Is that the question? Traveling is not the question. Traveling after the completion of the school is the question. Traveling after the completion of the school broadens the mindset of the countless youth. That's how you paraphrase that. The next sentence, they can meet a lot of people. Don't write just like that. They can meet, they can eat pizza, they can go, they can do this. Stop, giving preference to the word they. Instead, use the nominalization concept and try writing in a much formal way. So here, if you see, when they travel to varied places, an opportunity to interact innumerable people of different background arises. How other person have written, when they travel to varied places, they interact with innumerable people of different background. I did not write they interact again. So that is a nominalization I've already applied. You just have to have a close observation here. They can meet a lot of people from different background when they travel to varied places. An opportunity to interact with innumerable people arises. Different background arises, and consequently what is going to happen? Consequently, an exposure to such a mixed environment provides a greater understanding in the early stages of the life, facilitates a greater understanding of the society, which can drastically have a positive impact in their thinking. Same thing I just articulated, and now this looks like my main idea. This is supporting idea. This is more justification given as to why I said that traveling expands the mental horizon. Very simple, isn't it? So far, whatever you've done is only 1% of it. The rest 99% actually starts. So now let's talk about the work. For the travel we finished, now let's talk about the work. Whatever that comes to your mind, you just put it across. Brainstorming provides a better clarity about the working environment. Because the person is still young, correct? He doesn't know much about it, so he understands a lot of things about the working environment. He prepares one with better experience. Working during this time prepares the person with a better experience for the future job and helps them understand the complications to be dealt with in the professional life. Also gets hands-on experience on a lot of things. Whatever that comes to your mind, see, there is no important thing. It's all about representation. You can have a poor content and make it look rich, just like the media people do all the time. As simple as that. It's all the knack. That is the art, is what I'm talking about. You have to experience it. Correct? You have to experience. That means you write, have someone assess your essay. Again, write, make mistakes, and slowly you show a progression. So, and then I continued writing. They can make some money to meet finances and college fee meantime. And now I'm gonna group them. So if you see here, it was very easy for me to group these three things into one and this into another. Help them understand the complications to be dealt in professional life, working environment, future job when they work. And when they work, they're gonna earn some meager amount of money, man. Come on, they can make some money to meet finances and college fee meantime. So I've got two advantages not required, but if you want, you can certainly write, no problem at all. But whatever you write, you need to justify them. So let's quickly understand how to rewrite this. Helps them understand the complications to be dealt in the professional life. Working during break time will undoubtedly enable the adolescents to understand the intricacies of the working life well in advance. This is what I wrote. Working during break time. I am not deviating from the topic. I am talking to the topic. This is one of the most important aspects. Otherwise, task response, you completely goof it up. The next sentence prepares a better clarity about the working environment, provides a better clarity, and prepares one with better experience for the future job. In other words, this would be my main idea. I'm going to support it. This is because, or in other words, it provides a better clarity about the working environment and also prepares one for a better experience or exciting professional life in the future. That's the art of paraphrasing. And then they can make some money. I'm going to say apart from this, or in addition, additionally, individual at such a tender age can earn sufficient money to meet the financial needs and reduce the monetary burden of university fees. Well, we pretty much fine with it. So this is what I have written, the entire paragraph. This is the body one, which talks about the traveling and the working during break time. This has one particular main idea, which is broadens the mindset, and the rest of them are completely in line with broadening the mindset. That is with respect to traveling. And the working during the break time enable the adolescents to understand the intricacies, the complexities, the fine differences of the working life well in advance. And the rest of them talk about the same thing, working environment, and prepares one for an exciting professional life in the future. You can stop it here, but if you want, you have more to write, you write one more. Can earn sufficient money to meet the financial needs. And I also justified a little bit saying it reduces the monetary burden of the university fee. So it is not just about writing multiple sentences. You write multiple sentences, then you are justifying it. No, you can use a compound sentence and still give a justification like the one I have done for the last line. Alright, so far we saw the body one, and let's understand what are the mistakes that have happened with respect to task response. Well, task response, the question is very simple. Before commencing the higher university education and after finishing the high school, after the completion of school and when they travel, I'm talking about the same thing. I've already discussed more about it. Entire advantage is talking about the actual topic, and one of the advantages with respect to traveling during the break time. Correct? And similarly, working during the break time is also talking about the question. Task response is 9 out of 9. If you have any doubts on this, you can comment in the comment section. I'm gonna help you understand, but I hope it is justified. I've given very clear justification as to why the task response is 9. Let's talk about the coherence cohesion. Cohesion. See, coherence is different, cohesion is different. Cohesion is how well the ideas are structured. Coherence is like a Google map, never forget that. So coherence, we need signposts. This I've clearly explained in my other video, like I've been telling since beginning. Watch that video, you clearly understand that. Coherence is all about firstly, secondly, however, in contrast, on the other hand, as a result, consequently. Coherence is very easy, everyone will write that, but cohesion is the problem. So here we understand how well the cohesion has been developed. Cohesion is all about one main idea, supporting idea, and the conclusion. School broadens the mindset. When they travel, opportunity to interact with innumerable people. Consequently, an exposure to such an environment facilitates a greater understanding. See here, I started my sentence with broadens the mindset, and I'm still talking about the same thing, which can drastically have a positive impact. I'm talking about the same thing. On whom? On old people, no younger minds. That's exactly what I started with. Countless youth. Everything is about talking the same thing, so cohesion looks good, man. So this is difficult for a lot of people to get it. You need to narrate it. You have to become a very good screenplay artist, as simple as that. Similarly, working during break time will undoubtedly enable the adolescents to understand the intricacies. Like what? Better clarity about working environment. Also prepares one for an exciting professional life in the future. It is paraphrasing, and then can earn sufficient money to meet the financial needs, and due to this, you could have written in due to this, or consequently a reduction in the monetary burden of university fee can happen. I just combined them both. I have given justification, I have articulated it. Cohesion is excellent, but let's talk about the coherence. See here, firstly, that is one of the things. When they travel, I am talking about the previous noun, which is youth. This also comes under coherence. Consequently, an exposure to such is referring to the different background and social status. I'm relinking it using a pronoun. Pronoun referencing is very, very important. And once I finish this particular thing, I'm going with another. So similarly, you cannot say on the other hand and all. Similarly, working during break time also has a similar kind of advantages. In other words, it provides, that means working during break time. Apart from this, additionally is also fine. Individual at such a tender age, the entire thing is talking about working during break time. Such a tender age is a pronoun referencing. Coherence is good, man. I've used a lot of things, a lot of signposts are there. Coherence excellently is maintained. Cohesion is also maintained. Task response is maintained. The next thing is a lexical resource. Let's understand them as well. Lexical resource, certainly formal words, and most of them have written is a formal word, but let's understand here. Countless youth, students, I've changed to youth, and on the youth's mind I changed it to younger mind. Enable the youths to understand, adolescents to understand. Apart from this, youth or students, I told individual. Wherever is possible, I have not repeated. So repetition, a big no, but in the worst case, when you cannot do anything, it's totally fine. But usually repetition of the words, a big no, please. And that's just not the lexical resource. See here, traveling after the completion of school broadens the mindset of the countless youth. So this broadens the mindset. I could have written in the conclusion, which can drastically have drastically broaden the mindset of the countless youth. I paraphrased it and said positive impact. Hope you are getting it. Facilitates a great understanding of the society. It's also broadening the mindset. Same thing, but I'm writing in a different set of words, and it is properly fitting in. So same here, different background people. They get to meet innumerable people with different background. Consequently, an exposure to such a different background, I would have written it. I wrote mixed environment. Hope you are getting it. Wherever is possible, I'm changing it. And intricacies of the working life. The next one I could have written working life. I wrote working environment. Wherever is possible, but it's not just that. Formal words have to be written. Like nominalization, I told. They gain, they do. Gaining becomes easy. So wherever is possible, you have to use, and I've already done that, but now I'm showing with respect to the repetition. And it's not just that, we also need modifiers. Well, modifiers is nothing but sometimes you need to use few set of words to effectively convey your idea. For example, I need it. I need the pen. Let's say you told your brother. He is using a pen and he thought maybe you don't actually need it and you are simply asking it. But let's say you said, I badly need it. He will certainly will understand that you certainly will need it, and if he doesn't give you, you're going to break his leg. So this badly is called a modifier. It is helping you to convey your thoughts, convey your ideas effectively. Hope you're getting it. And should I use this here? Certainly yes, you have to use it. No way of escaping at all, and it's very easy to use. I'm going to explain you that as well. So if you see here, when they travel to places, different places has a meaning. Interact with people, innumerable people, always quantify. Don't just write people, some people, a lot of people, several people, an inordinate amount of people. You have to use such an environment, mixed environment, facilitates an understanding, greater understanding, which can have a positive impact, drastically have a positive impact, which can have an impact, positive impact. Break time, during the break time, working during break time will undoubtedly enable, provides a clarity, better clarity, prepares one for a professional life, exciting professional life at such an age, at such a tender age. Can earn money, can earn sufficient money, whatever is required. Reduce the burden, monetary burden. Every word here, believe me, helps you get more marks for your lexical resource. And trust me on this, verified, tested strategies. A lot of students of mine are getting 7 to 8 easily, even in the very first attempt. A lot of track records like that using this method. So you can blindly rely on this, but at the end of the day, yes, it's all about English. You need to have a good English. Just by using the words, Nakul, I used the word, I still did not get it. You may be doing some other mistake. Always understand that. So let's understand the grammar. Look at the first line. Traveling after the completion of school broadens the mindset of countless youth. I eat pizza. Simple sentence. When I go to hotel, when they travel to varied places, whenever you create a dependency, it becomes a complex sentence. An opportunity to interact with innumerable arises, complex sentence. Consequently, an exposure to such a mixed environment facilitates a greater understanding of the society. This is really, really important. Always have a checklist. You need to have one relative clause. Using that, those, which, some word has to be there, which again references the previous thing. Greater understanding, which can, that means greater understanding can drastically have. This is a relative clause, comes under complex sentence. Similarly, working during break time will undoubtedly enable adolescents to do something. Simple sentence. So we have two simple so far, one complex, one relative clause. We just need a compound statement. If you have not written a compound statement, let's say you wrote, it provides a better clarity about the working environment, you put a full stop. You should be immediately knowing that you have not written a compound sentence. Let me add, and blah blah blah, add something so that it becomes a compound sentence. Hope you are getting that. Hope you are getting it. Apart from this, an individual at such a tender age can earn sufficient money to meet the financial needs and reduce the monetary burden of the university fees. Apart from this, I do this, it's a complex sentence, this has a dependency. On top of that, I've used the connector here, it becomes a compound sentence. Throughout, if you see, it has a mixture of simple, complex, compound, relative clause. Excellent. Grammar is all excellent, but it's only a part of it, because models really play a huge role, and I've already explained in the very beginning. I kill you, I will kill you, I can kill you, I should kill you. Everything has a different meaning with respect to context. So firstly, traveling after the completion of school broadens the mindset. When they travel to, you may ask, Nakul, can I write will broaden? See, this is again a big chapter. In my first two videos, I've explained the tenses. When it's a fact, you don't use the models. It's a fact, you just put it in the present tense. See, it's a big ocean. I will put all of them in the description. You can watch it later. But for now, understand, sometimes you have to use the will, sometimes you should not. You should just keep it as it is. When it's a fact, you keep it. When it's your opinion, then you add the models accordingly. When they travel to varied places, an opportunity to interact with innumerable people of different background and social status arises. Here I want to say, it may, I'm not sure about it, it may arise. And that's a very important thing. Consequently, it facilitates a greater understanding of the society, which can drastically have a positive impact on the younger mind. Can refers to ability. Will refers to undoubtedness. That means 100% correct. Working during break time will definitely enable. Will, If you don't use will, working during break time enables the adolescents, totally fine. But if you use the will, believe me, there will be a certain change in the marks. And I completely trust this. Things are working so far for my students. It will work for you as well. Wherever there is a possibility of adding a model, you add it. Apart from this, an individual at such a tender age can earn. It becomes an ability to show a possibility. Use the word can. When you talk about the past tense, you're going to use the word could. It's again a big chapter. Let's not deal more about it in this. Well, so far we finished just the introduction and the body one. Still a long way to go. Well, don't worry about it. At the end of the day, it's about you getting what you want. That piece of knowledge, that piece of information that could help you edge past 7 in your Ielts writing. So now we will go to the body 2, which is all about disadvantages. Right? So you're going to talk about one disadvantage for the traveling and one disadvantage for the work. And for the traveling, you write one disadvantage, you justify it. And for the work, you write one disadvantage, you justify it. And how you write? Represent it with respect to task response, coherence cohesion, lexical resource, grammar. Always understand this. Have a checklist. Keep on ticking once you finish them accordingly. So let's now understand the body 2. So far we finished introduction, body 1, and now we go to body 2. But before I explain you the real thing, as I received in the comment section, a lot of people requested me to show an essay which looks like it gets a 9, but it doesn't. That's what I did in the body 1. In the body 2 also I'm going to do the same thing and then show you the actual correct essay. So this is the body 2. Secondly, entering the workforce or choosing to travel possesses some trivial disadvantages to the younger generation. That is not the question at all. The question is entering the workforce or choosing to travel during that break time, which is completely missing. When the young people start working, they understand the value of money. Makes sense, totally yes, but it is not fitting the topic. And pay heed to monetary aspects in the life. They lose focus on pursuing their studies further as their attention is diverted to money making. Coherence cohesion is fine. They pay heed to monetary aspects and their attention is diverted to money making. Coherence cohesion is fine to some extent, but task response, nope, right away 0, because this is talking about some other topic. Makes sense, isn't it? Due to traveling, many students end up settling abroad. What is the person trying to say? The students will go settle abroad and as they prefer the foreign lifestyle. This is a valuable loss for students as they miss the values and benefits of family life. The persons try to justify with a point, but this is talking about students traveling abroad. It is not at all talking about traveling during that break. Again, the entire thing is wrong. And the grammar looks good, but again, lack of the variety of sentences, no models has been used. So yes, this will not score more than 6.5 or 7, 100% not possible. So let's understand how exactly to write this. The same way as I explained the advantages, the disadvantages also go the same way. One main idea, one supporting idea, some examples, and then conclusion, but independently for travel and the work. I've already written that. I'm going to directly show it to you. I'm now here concentrating on working. On the other hand, obvious disadvantages are associated with taking a break from school. I'm starting with this. I'm directly starting with this. So I am talking about the topic. Firstly, earning at such a younger age make one accustomed, get used to. You're not supposed to use that informal word like that. There are plenty of words. Alright, so get accustomed to monthly wages. However, the fact that a graduation can benefit them with a better salaried job is often overlooked. If you see here, what I'm linking, earning at such a younger age, get accustomed to monthly. They're getting salary, man, every monthly they're getting salary. But the fact that they could have gotten a better salary if they had finished the graduation is overlooked. I'm talking about the same thing. I'm again talking about the same thing. This would mean they may not return to studies later and continue to enjoy the partial benefits of earning to meet the finances. Entire thing is talking about they get used to monthly wages. So it's very simple. Nakul, how do I think like this? It's very simple. Group them, just start brainstorming. Think of an example. This is another approach. Think of an example. What is going to happen if I myself don't continue studying and I went to work at such a younger age? I'll be getting a salary. I may get so used to it. and start putting a question mark. See, it's all about at the strike of one thought. One thought you get, put a question mark, you get one more thought related to this. Hope you're getting it. So all I did was, what if I work? I get little salary and I get used to it. And consequences, the moment I get used to it, for sure I will not return because I'm getting salary, man. I'm like more than happy with it. But what is the implication? I might have earned a better salary job in the future, but due to the like immediate benefits, I'm overlooking it. Entire thing is talking about one thing. So what I'm telling you, this is called articulation of the thoughts. You bring one, start putting question mark, start putting question mark until you get another thought and then finish it nicely. And entire thing should be titled as one thing. In such a way you should write. You write something and you show it to your friend. Your friend says, the title could be this, the title could be this also, title could be this name also. The person end up giving 4 different titles to your paragraph. That should never happen. If that is happening, your coherence cohesion is goofed up. Always understand this very simple rule. So show it to your friend or like see it yourself. If you're able to come up with only one title for this, that means coherence cohesion is perfect. That's exactly what I'm showing in my essays too. So hope you understood this. We will talk about it in detail in just a while. But before that, we go to the next paragraph. So hope you understood how to write that particular thing. We'll understand more about the evaluation criteria in just a while. But before that, let's talk about the traveling. Okay, Nakul, with respect to travel, can you just help us without, like before showing the actual paragraph? Very simple. Maybe you can pause the video and start thinking about it. The thoughts could differ, but representation should be same. All you got to say is, you bring up a disadvantage of traveling and start questioning. So let's understand one of the disadvantages. Let's say young people start traveling. What is going to happen? They may get drugged. Why? Why? Put a question mark. The next thought, because there are a lot of bad people and these young people are not matured enough. The bad people can easily influence them. So question mark, what happens? Complications. So due to this, they will lose their life. They may not return to studies at all. That's all it is. That's all it is. Well, if you have got the jumble of thoughts, then arrange them and make a nice story. And now we have to write that. Whatever we got is a thought wherein we know what has to be written, how to write each and everything. You just have to represent it by penning it down. So this is what it is. Encouraging students to travel after the schooling may put them at risk. This is my main idea. And this is an art. You will get it with the practice. This is because adolescent mind may not be mature enough to judge every person they encounter during the journey, and this may lead them to a wrong path. For instance, drug addiction is one such activity many youths succumb to fall prey to, which later abstain them from continuing the studies. Whatever I told you I have written, but in a completely formal way. For this you need a knowledge, you need the feedback. Hope you are getting it. So let's deal more about the evaluation criteria. With respect to task response, yes, associated taking a break, I'm talking about encouraging the students to travel after the schooling. Entire thing is talking about the topic. And coherence cohesion, if you see, on the other hand, that's what I started with. Firstly, I'm going to talk about one of the disadvantages. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the next disadvantages. Earning at such a younger age make one get accustomed to monthly wages. However, in contrast, the fact that graduation can benefit them with a better salary job is often overlooked. This would mean, or this implies, consequently, anything is fine as a result. Anything is fine, but I want this signpost no matter what. They may not return. They is what? Again, I did not write youths. Wherever is possible, you change it to pronoun, but not multiple times. Here we have written multiple times. Them, they, still fine. We will talk about it in just a while. They may not return to studies later and continue to enjoy the partial benefits. Secondly, encouraging students to travel after the schooling may put them at risk. Main idea. This is because why puts them at risk? I'm again talking about the same thing. Cohesion is perfect, and the word this coherence is, I'm getting more marks for that. This is because adolescent mind may not be matured enough to judge every person they encounter and during the journey, and this may lead, and as a result, anything is fine, but you got to use a signpost. For instance, I wrote something, I justified, and I'm giving an example. Drug addiction is one such activity many youth succumb to, which later abstain them that is youths, from continuing studies. Coherence cohesion is, I believe, excellent. If you have found out any issues, feel free to comment in the comment section. I take it in a positive way to look into the issues. After this, it's lexical resource. See here, on the other hand, obvious disadvantages are associated with taking a break. I used a new term which was not in the topic. Firstly, earning, working, I changed it to a new word. Such a younger age make one accustomed to monthly wages. However, the fact that a graduation can benefit them with this earning, I changed that to a better salaried job, is often overlooked. This would mean that they may not return to studies later and continue to enjoy the partial benefits of earning. Nakul, you are caught earning, you've done multiple times. Say in the worst case, it's totally fine. But if you want to remove this, you remove it. It is not going to make any difference. This is what you got to learn. See here, this would mean that they may not return to studies later and continue to enjoy the partial benefits to meet the finances. You're talking about better salary jobs, earning, monthly wages. Again, of earning is not required. It's redundant. In some cases, you can just remove them instead of thinking of a new world. Let's continue. Secondly, encouraging students, I use the word students now, to travel after the schooling may put them at risk. This is because an adolescent mind, instead of writing this, you could have said they. If you're running short of words, you can use the pronoun referencing, but not all the time. They may not be matured enough to judge and encounter during the journey, and this may lead them. Nakul, you are using them multiple times. Very simple. If you have written, see if this is applicable very much to people who take the computer based, because you can click on the backspace and remove them, erase them as many times as you want. On a paper based, this is also possible, definitely yes, but I feel it's little annoying. So if possible, switch to computer based. This method properly works. This may lead them to a wrong path. For instance, drug addiction is one such activity. Many youths, I changed the word, adolescent, succumb to, which later abstain them. Again, Nakul, them. I don't want multiple them. Very simple. You can change it the way you want it. And this may lead them to a wrong path, and this may cause severe problems. This may cause detrimental effects. This may cause anything you write in this way also, you can change it. It's actually very simple. You just gotta think. Should have the knowledge, know that you can change them, the word them, if you don't want, the way you want it. And after this, we check the modifiers. See that obvious advantages or disadvantages. Obvious is a modifier. With a salary job, better salary job. Enjoy the partial benefits, cause severe problems. Many youths, many youths. So wherever is possible, I'm just adding it up. I hope you're there. Let's also talk about the grammar. So here, if you see, on the other hand, obvious disadvantages are associated with this simple sentence. Earning at such a younger age make one accustomed to this simple sentence. However, the fact that a graduation can benefit them with a better salaried job is often overlooked. Simple sentence. Okay, 3 simple sentences. Alright, if needed, we're going to change it. This would mean they may not return to studies later and they will continue to enjoy partial benefits. That becomes a compound sentence. Alright, 1 compound sentence. Secondly, encouraging students to travel after the schooling may put them at risk. Simple sentence. This is because they may not be matured enough to judge every person they encounter, and this may cause a compound sentence. For instance, drug addiction is one such activity many youth succumb to, which later, that means succumb to, which abstain them from. Relative clause. Have I got all the sentences? Relative clause, simple, compound. Where is the complex? There is no complex. So you got to use them. And how do we do that? We change one of the sentences. Any sentence. This would mean they may not return to studies later and continue. It's difficult to change it. This compound sentence we're gonna change. And how do we do that? Remove this is because. Add a dependency. How do you add a dependency? You add a subordinate conjunction. Check my grammar videos. I've clearly explained what is that. Since, as, because, when, although, though. Let's use since. Since they may not be matured enough to judge every person they encounter during their journey, comma, it may cause severe problems. So this becomes a complex sentence. From compound, I changed it to complex. And now I have all the varieties of sentences. Very simple. That's exactly what I have shown here. You remove the word this is because. It becomes since they may not be matured enough to judge, or as they are not matured enough Anything is fine, but start with a dependent clause. To judge every person they encounter during the journey, it may cause, since they are not matured, it may cause severe problems. It becomes a complex sentence. It's actually very simple, isn't it? You just have to believe so and start practicing. So that is all about grammar. And but then we have model. See here, wherever is possible, I'm using it. However, the fact that a graduation can benefit, it's a possibility, ability it is checking. This would mean they may not. I'm not sure, 50-50. I'm 50-50 sure about it. Since they may not be matured, it may cause. And secondly, encouraging students to travel after the schooling may put them at risk. Will put them at risk also, you can write, but it depends on the writer. I think may is making more sense. Very simple. So we have finished the introduction, body 1 and the body 2 as well. Let's quickly go to the conclusion. The simple rule is this, only 2 lines. The first line gonna summarize the advantages, second line gonna summarize the disadvantage. So how many advantage should I pick? One of the keyword from the body 1 is more than enough. If you want to take 2, it's totally fine, and the similar way for the body 2, which is a disadvantage. The fact being that is advantage, disadvantage is a, you would have written more advantages or less advantages. So one thing is more than enough, whichever you think is correct. And I've picked up here. In conclusion, a break after schooling can assist the students with a real experience of the professional world, along with benefiting them with a little money. Instead, you could have talked about a break after schooling can assist the students with a real experience of the professional world, along with benefiting them with talking to different set of people, thereby increasing their knowledge, which is widening the mental horizon. However, because it's a disadvantage, the template gonna be fixed. However, this could be a flawed concept if the liberty to travel or work is misused because of an immature mind. Or you could have told this could be a flawed concept if the liberty to choose or work is misused because of an immature mind. In the second line, we have not talked about the better salary will actually abstain them from continuing the further studies. It's totally fine. You're just trying to summarize the information. So however, this could be a flawed concept. You're talking about a disadvantage if the liberty to travel or work is misused because of an immature mind. Totally fine. I don't think any problem in this. We are not deviating. And a lot of people, what they do, they again try to invent something new on their own out of the blue in the conclusion. Don't do that. Whatever you've written, exactly copy paste. Basically I've done that and then I changed it using different words and a little bit different meaning, which is paraphrasing. As simple as that. Well, I think that's completes this session. Congratulations, you've just understood how to write a band 9 essay, and I really hope this was a useful video, helped you understand a lot of things. But always understand, it's not just about practicing. See, whatever I shared so far with 1 hour video, I'm pretty much sure it's literally a very lengthy video. It was all the knowledge sharing, but knowledge sharing will help you only to some extent. What helps you is the execution. So once you got the knowledge, you wouldn't still understand the problems you may be facing if you're not very conscious about it. Correct? The next thing is the feedback. You need the feedback, and that alone solves the purpose. Always understand this. And if interested in our online courses, wherein we do this session every day in the evening, we do this. If you're interested in the online session, you can always send us a mail for the online coaching. And I hope you will really like the video. Pass your comments in the comment section, and what videos you want me to come up with in the future. Definitely I would take it on a positive note and do the needful. Saying this, I'm going to end this video here. Thanks much for your time and participation. Looking forward to see you soon. And if you have not subscribed the channel yet, kindly do subscribe, not to miss any of the further updates. Take care guys. Bye bye.